Do this real quick. All right, so I think opening's perfectly fine. Entering's fine. Yep. I think normally we'll see this afterwards, just because our opponent may or may not need to come back and fix the cutting point, which gives you Sente. Like this, white can like what they didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. You said who is here?
Shark.
Shark is here.
White,
Okay, yeah.
white too.
So generally, your opponent won't give you Sente like that. You can maybe push once and then come down, but at that point, you've already given black kind of like this Shamari here, or a large Shamari. Generally, you'd be forced to fix, and then black has the first move on the board, which can go anywhere. 3/3, fix the bottom left, or sorry, the bottom right. Can come back to the top side. They can also try to wedge and attack your 2 stones here. So I often refrain from playing a jump here. Maybe just take the points, especially since you've already shown that you've taken these points here. But I don't think there's any like major issues other than this cut can happen and you're going to be in pain. All right, so we kept jumping. Oh. Okay. I think instead of pushing here, because later you may want to be able to play this move. And when your opponent comes out, he's only hurting the corner. And if he pushes this way, he's 100% hurting the right side. There's also the combination of being able to do this. Because later, if you're able to get these cuts in Sente, you can use them to your advantage.
Right.
They're definitely Aji here. So I wouldn't push here. Maybe you can go ahead and take the corner. You can force your opponent to try to capture these 2 stones in some sort of way. And if they come out, then you would want to push. Because you still can do the same thing over here. You can still take the corner points here.
Yep.
I'm a very aggressive player, so I don't mind making sacrifices. Here, now we're making unnecessary exchanges. We don't need to lose our liberty here.
Right.
You can just play here directly. It's also, maybe later your opponent won't play that connecting move here. You may be able to get this extra push. But in this case, we're unnecessarily fortifying these 3 stones that are now connected to these groups.
Right.
Okay, so we're defending our group a little bit more. Our opponent decided to play there. I would just take this immediately and let my opponent play here. Because now, if they go into the corner, you have the influence. You kind of have more control over the board than your opponent does. Your opponent also has 2 open corners here. This is fine. I expect my opponent to come back and defend here. And if you play this way, I can go ahead and play this. If you don't answer and you defend the group here, then I'm kind of getting the first attack in the center. So connecting here would be important, but your opponent's going to be able to attack your cornerstones. You can also leave here and play this way, but it comes down to black being able to attack your group. I'm assuming here you're trying to attack the N3 stone.
Right.
Just defend, or not defend, descend, the word I'm looking for. Just descending here is enough. If your opponent tries to save it, it doesn't work. Either the corner territory gets destroyed and the group lives, or black gives up the stones in a very painful way. So most likely your opponent may try this. But you can just either respond or go for the corner.
Mhm.
But when you play here, now we have to probably play something like this and then cut. But you'll notice that you have an issue, right? Like, I don't know what happened in the game, but I'm assuming this is also probably going to be an issue just by the shape.
Mhm.
Because you have to defend, right? Black connects, push. Yeah, the cut's still there. I can still play here as black. Play like this. Still need to come back, fix the cut. What did you play? Okay, took that. The cut's still going to be there just because if you defend normally, you have a cut here, you have a cut here. And at first it looks like you can, protect it, right? Play something like this, but after here, black can go ahead and cut for the corner.
Right.
So you gain 2 stones, but you lost probably a lot here.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure you will die if you try to live in that corner.
Mhm.
That's why I think this is definitely a huge problem for you.
Mhm.
Black, on the other hand, I think black is probably better on the board in terms of not points, but just group wellness overall.
Yep.
You have a lot of cuts and pokes that can happen to you. Now, just taking a good look, you have this here, 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 even an attachment here. So you have a lot of busyness that's going to be happening later. And your opponent also gets the first move. So that's trouble. I don't have any complaints about how black played, except for here. I think black should definitely just protect the 1 stone because the cut's still there. I also don't think black should have played p6. Normally, this is probably the better move.
Mhm.
But you can also play this way as black and attack. If your opponent hanes, you can just defend, let your opponent connect up, and then attack. All right, so moving forward. All right, so our opponent attacked us, and our 2 stones don't have a base. My first thought is not to pincer my opponents, because when they play here, now we need to make local life, right?
Mhm.
If we try to separate, we're the ones that get separated, especially like this. Our
Mhm.
opponent can play this. A lot of cutting. So in this case, you can attach. This will definitely bring you out to the center. Your opponent is not going to be able to slide underneath. They still need to make territory on the left side, or make a base, I should say. And your corner is going to be less in pain. If you're wondering about this, you're not going to. Well, first your opponent can't do this because the stones will die. But like this, you can attack the group here.
Mhm.
So your corner group will be fine by playing 5. But when they come out here, maybe you need to defend. So you can cut, you can play here,
Mhm.
attack the base here. Even though it looks like it should live, if you're able to make a cut on one side,
Yeah.
for example, if you, let's play a black move. If you play here, there's weakness for black,
Mhm.
and it's only 1 eye.
Mhm.
If your opponent decides to take the 1 stone, then you've not only destroyed the weakness here at the turn, but you've also captured 2 stones.
Right.
Okay, so, oh, that's good. Okay. So we got good shape, and then we make our opponent thicker. We don't necessarily need to poke unless you are in trouble. So for example, here, I think it would be better if you either defend the side and worry about this later, or you just defend the corner and get attacked.
Yeah, I wish I defended the corner.
Yeah, because if you defend the corner and your opponent attacks like this, you'll notice that your opponent has a very severe weakness in this elephant eye here.
Yep.
So let's give black a small base here. If you're able to attack this group at any point he makes any type of push, it's me for you to just play the other way. And there's also the fact that if he plays here, you can play the empty triangle. If you play this way, maybe he's able to play a ladder later. Maybe later. He can also just play this way and then come out, give up a stone for general life on the bottom. But if your opponent tries to play this way, you can just cut and then turn. Now your opponent needs to come out some way. So it's very effective if you have this move paired with F5, because you're attacking the weak shapedness. But if you play here and then play this, black's not worried. Black may even just play here and then attack your shape. So don't make unnecessary peeps, but you still need to come back and fix your corner.
Yeah, I should have fixed the corner.
That's super important.
Yeah.
All right, so we help black fix his shape. Do we come back?
No, we didn't.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's coming.
Even here we should, aspire to make our opponent's shape as painful as possible. Because if he plays here, you can just connect. You don't even have to connect. You can just leave it. And if you connect here, you're leaving a pain point for black. So now even if he attacks, he's not going to be able to fully, well, he has to do some ninja stuff. So peep first and then play here. And then he can make a ko, but you don't have to answer 12. So later in the game, if you're able to play 13, then this A group and B group are technically both under risk. Especially since you'll be able to play a ko with this. Because even though black cut you, you can still connect underneath, especially if you defend your corner. Defend your corner, now it's a ko for black to save either the outside stones or so if he doesn't save the outside stones, he can save the inside with a capture at 1, but you can still leave the ko for later and attack the stones. So you had potential here, I think. But when we didn't defend, I think we're steadily losing any gain that we had or any even percentage from the AI. I didn't look at the AI, but it feels really bad if we are the ones with all the weak groups and our opponent's just getting stronger.
Right.
Okay, so we eventually came back. That's fine. He defended the corner. All right, so in general, when our stones are already on the outside, do we need to make a base or reduce the corner in a way? Or can we just play here directly?
I think we could play there directly almost at this point.
Yeah, so at this point, if our opponent plays Joseki, we can just live in the corner. And at most, we may have to give up these 3 stones, maybe. And what that would look like is, black has to surround these stones like this. So that means he only gains 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 points compared to the 20 points he lost in the corner.
Right.
But when we attach, I don't know how that happened. When we attached, we're giving our opponent, we didn't even hana here. So we still have the chance, right? Our opponent can still try something like this. and then still get the corner, but we dipped into it, or our opponent plays something like this,
Mhm.
and you can still get the corner. Whoops. There it is. Connect, Tari, take. They take the one stone, and they only get the one stone.
Right.
So double honey is very powerful. Your opponent's going to have to answer some way, somehow. And then you can just make points.
Mhm.
Or even if you come back and play 3 like you did in game, you can still make a kill.
Mhm.
So if you see this shape,
Mhm.
generally you can double honey.
Right.
Generally. That was probably another missed opportunity, especially since your opponent answered almost immediately.
Mhm.
You can go ahead and take Liberty and take the Atari. What this does is it reduces a Liberty on this group and makes it harder for Black to play, a cut at A or a cut at
Yeah.
B.
Mhm.
So that free Atari would have been helpful. All right, so our opponent's attacking us. We defended, which is perfectly fine. Okay. Do you have the ladder? I'm gonna go ahead and say you do. Okay. Oh. You peeped. You look like you're going for a cut, and then you didn't cut.
Right. I should have cut.
Well, what if we just play here? I think our opponent could play something like this, and then we just fortify our stones here, either by playing this
Mhm.
or we push out.
Mhm.
So essentially what's going to happen is these stones are probably going to get separated, but what you're doing is you're making a weak group for you to attack.
Mhm.
And with how your stones are laid in the center, I think it's pretty important that we try to gain some sort of profit from Black trying to invade us
Mhm.
by attacking these stones. But when we play here, I think in the game we have a very large problem, because now if we try to first, I'll just illustrate that the center is not as big as you think it's going to get, mostly
Right.
because there's an entrance at A, B, and C, and then
No,
you also have
yeah, that's right.
cuts here
Yep.
that are very, very painful to deal with. So I want to say Black is definitely ahead at this point. I didn't
Mhm.
count, but that's what it looks like.
And maybe
And you lost. I'm looking at the time, but you've lost your advantage not being able to play this cut, and I think that's where the game probably goes horribly wrong for White.
Yeah. No, it was the bottom corner there. I never defended it and lost the corner.
Oh, okay. Let's take a quick look at it. Okay, so you actually did get a chance to attack your opponent. It looks like your opponent messed up in the center.
Right.
What if you just? Oh, you did turn. Okay, but we're attacking from the wrong side.
Mhm.
There we go. So if you just play here, remember you're connected here, right? So if you defend your shape in the center,
Mhm.
then kind of like all of this is yours,
Mhm.
with the exception of a bit of a corner and whatever you can get here.
Yeah.
But so we allow our opponent to. You can still play here. Your
Yeah.
opponent should try to cut you and then make some trouble in the center here. The reason I have a problem with playing on this side is you have a weak connection
Yeah.
with these 3 stones here
Yep. Mhm.
to both the triangle stones. All right, so your opponent's trying to abuse it. He protects his cut. He gives up the stones. Okay. Oh, you got cut. But somehow you're alive. Oh yeah, your opponent missed it.
Yeah.
If they had played something like this, or even here first,
Mm-hmm.
you still need to
And I
meet the
got
life
that.
somehow.
Yeah.
Now your opponent can come in and wreak havoc.
Coming. So I was feeling pretty good. I'm back in the game right now. But then somewhere along the line here,
Well, it's good that you captured black. He definitely made
Yeah.
the mistake of
yeah,
letting himself get cut.
right.
Okay, he defended that. Oh, you decided to Hane. Just defend your corner.
Yeah, I should have just defended.
I think like this, maybe it's a close game because black has a lot of
Yeah.
second line territory,
Right.
and then the only third line territory he has up here. So there's a lot of potential after the large capture in the center.
Right.
So
There it is.
now,
And then I just blew it.
maybe now you just need to. I don't even think you can live here anymore.
Right. It was a devastating blow.
Even with something like this, I think you may have some potential.
Mhm.
Like your opponent can play here, and then you have to answer. And then when they play, they can't play that. So if they play here, then you can just capture it. You should be alive if you
If
enter this move here.
Yeah. That was the color, and I resigned fairly shortly after that.
I looked at that, but did you really need to resign?
I did. I was so devastated. I I was under coronavirus fog too, so I was like, oh.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say you should definitely try to fight the coat with large coat threats.
Mhm.
Other than that, I think not. Overall, we played a lot of center oriented moves rather than going for points.
Right.
And then we also played a lot of Ajikeshi.
Right.
So my concern for you is play a little bit more solid.
Yep.
So you reduce the minimum risk of being cut.
Yep.
Like you were in the whole game. Your opponent didn't abuse them, but they were there.